Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Moszkowicz podcast. And I'm very excited for my guest today. I am about to introduce to you a very, very interesting man from Italy. His name is Paolo Guizzardi. And, he's the national ICER representative for Italy. And, without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Guizzardi. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello, Max. Good evening, and thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. So I introduced you as the Italian national representative for ICER. I hope I did it right this time.
hmm
I had been telling you we're the head of ICER in Italy. That's not true.
Not
Um,
exactly.
no, I'm sorry about that. The representative. Um, but maybe I should give you the stage and introduce yourself properly.
Yes, thanks, Max. Well, will start saying that I am a member of the Centro Ufologico Nazionale, or CUN, which is one of the oldest private UFO associations in Europe and in the world as well. And I'm a member since 2008. And since the beginning, I am also one of the founders of ICER. ICER launched publicly in May, end of May this year, so it's rather a new initiative after all, but we will talk a bit later on this. And for the rest, I cannot say that much at an international level because my activity in the UFO field has always been has remained within the boundaries of Italy because my most important activity is to translate text documents of relevance for the UFO research, which are in other languages, English, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and to translate them to Italian and publish them in my website, just to make a goodwill service for my fellow citizens, Italian citizens, who do not understand any other language.
Sure.
Because if you don't speak, if you don't understand at least English, well, you cannot do that much in the UFO research. So
No.
this is and with my participation into ICER, my activities are extending at an international level. But I mean, we are at the beginning. With ICER, we have not many resources, but we have very good ideas, and I will tell you later. So that's
Well,
it for the moment.
yeah. We've all been following Spain, Barcelona. The ICER representatives over there. Exciting stuff is going on. Maybe you want to elaborate on that a little bit.
Oh, yes. If you want me to start with this, yes, of course. I
For
mean,
sure.
the most important news, I think, were originally in San Marino this year,
Where
where
we
we
met.
met. Exactly. And then also we had some news, important news in Barcelona, in the Barcelona Congress. First of all, in San Marino, we had this. I mean, the Congress, the International Symposium, because the name is International Symposium on UFO, on the UFO phenomenon. And we had this symposium, and it was very good. But also, we had on Monday, once that the symposium was ended, by the way, that was the 30th, 30 edition of the symposium, which is
Yeah,
quite a feat
yeah,
after all.
which was surprising to me because to me the UFO community in Holland is non-existing. I think that counts for a lot of countries. So to know there has been symposia for 30 years was kind of
Mhm.
mind blowing to me. Sorry, I interfered.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And that's for this, we must thank Roberto Pinotti, who is the most prominent ufologist in Italy. and one of the most prominent in the world as well, who
Yeah.
is the president of the Centro Ufologico Nazionale, and is
And
also the president
Mr.
of ICER also.
Yeah, and Mr. Pinotti is holding a UFO treasure.
Yes.
We'll talk about that a
We'll
bit later.
Yes, yes, indeed. So, I mean, what we did, what was interesting in at after the end of the symposium of San Marino, was that a delegation of ICER and CUN met with the Minister of Culture and University of San Marino, and we illustrated to this gentleman a project which is called Project Titan, or Progetto Titano in Italian. One thing has to be said. Project Titan is also the project, a project which is actually being run by Apple. I think it's for the production of autonomous vehicle, a car,
Right.
which drives itself. So just to point out that, I mean, there is also another Project Titan. So I prefer to call it Project Titano. In any
Yeah, so
case,
we have to separate the titans.
yes. So this Project Titan, or Titano, is joint initiative by the Centro Ufologico Nazionale and ICER, which foresees San Marino, in his quality of UN member state, to present the UN Secretary General Office a proposal for the creation of a small office within the UN structure devoted to the
Yes.
organization of a world conference on UFOs to be held in San Marino. The
Yes.
conference is meant to assess the state of the research on the UFO or UAP phenomenon, if you prefer, and to share ideas and to present new ideas and discuss with all the a point, meeting point, and a discussion point moment for everyone who is interested to study the UFO phenomenon. And this is exactly where it is meant to be, at an international level. This is what ICER wants to do, exactly what it wants to do. It's one of its stated intention since the beginning, that is to bring the discussion on UFOs or UAP to the highest possible level.
Exactly. And
And
how
also,
is Oh, sorry. Let me ask you one
yes,
question.
please.
I know, I know.
Mhm.
And how is the UN responding to this initiative?
Wait. For the moment, we have presented this project to the government of San Marino.
Hmm.
Then we are still waiting for the government to say yes or no. So this is the situation. Let's be clear. We have presented this. If San Marino, as I hope, will agree to participate into these projects, it will present the United Nations Secretary General Office, will submit this proposal. And this proposal, according to the internal procedures of the United Nations, will have to be assigned for discussion to a specific commission.
Hmm.
Then the commission will evaluate, will discuss it, and if it approves it, it will be recommended for examination by the UN General Assembly, which will then vote on it. So this is the full procedure. For the moment, we are just at the very beginning. We have presented this proposal, and and I think that the San Marino government authorities will be evaluating this, and I'm confident they will understand the importance of this and the benefits also that San Marino could get from this initiative. But for the moment, we are in the phase where we are waiting an answer from the San Marino government. And
Yes.
and maybe you could ask, why San Marino? Why such a small place was
Well, my
chosen for
question,
this initiative?
well, my
Hmm.
question is not why San Marino.
Hmm.
I can kind of guess why San Marino.
Hmm.
There's not a lot of rules. They're pretty much separate from the European Union. It's kind of like Switzerland. So I get that place. But my question to you is,
Hmm.
um, uh, how do you see your chances to get a serious acknowledgement from, let's say, other European countries and eventually the UN?
Well, that's a good question, Max. Actually, it's difficult to say. It is really difficult to say because, of course, we cannot we cannot judge on something for which we have no precedence. I mean, there was never there, there has never been anything like this before. So we do not have any parameters on
Yeah,
which to base a judgment.
there's no benchmark yet, right?
Exactly,
Um,
exactly. That's the point.
so
Sorry. I hope, and I think, reasonably think that given the situation, the general situation concerning the UFO phenomenon, which has already changed and is still changing,
yeah,
I
there's a
think
huge
that
paradigm shift. Yeah.
yes, exactly. I think that the time is right now to do this kind of proposal because I think that there could be a good number of countries who could agree on this proposal. I think,
Yes.
and you know, San Marino could really turn into the Geneva of the UFOs, actually,
Well, that
because
would be great.
exactly, because and you know, I mean, San Marino is a choice of excellence in this sense because you know after 30 editions of the World Symposium, it comes, I mean, an upgrade of this symposium to an international level, to a real international official level, comes as, how can I say, it comes naturally in this sense. Also, San Marino is an independent state, one of the oldest republic in the world, by the way, is an independent state which is proud of its independence. And it's not by chance that I have mentioned the Geneva of the UFOs, because the neutrality of San Marino makes the choice of excellence for this such a kind of initiative of a world UFO conference where persons expert of any field of any nationality can meet, discuss, exchange ideas. I mean, to start a dialogue, an international dialogue, which I think it's something that is really needed nowadays. Because I mean, if we go on like we've done till now, I mean, each one jealously studying UFOs on his own and keeping it under a big, heavy secrecy, we will not go anywhere. I mean, it's time that UFOs or UAPs are studied openly, publicly, and internationally.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let me shift to something that is very connected to what you were just elaborating about.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mentioned San Marino being kind of like a Switzerland. It has its own independence,
Hmm.
which is of course those are good conditions for an initiative like this. So San Marino is surrounded literally by the country of Italy.
It's an
Uh,
enclave.
it's an enclave, exactly. So there's something interesting about Italy because we were just talking backstage about this. Um, if I compare uh, the knowledge of UAP and cases to my country or neighboring countries like Germany, there's basically nothing over here. But
Hmm.
in Italy, there's actually almost a culture of UAP sightings. It's known among the general public. Now, how would you explain that?
Difficult to say, but I mean, you see, if you consider that the Romans, I mean, 2,000 years ago, they created their own word for UFOs in
Oh
Latin.
yeah.
I don't know if you are aware of this.
Well, you
They
told me, but please tell my audience.
yes, yes. They call them clipeus ardentes, which means fiery shields, like the
Oh,
shields of the soldiers, of course, which are round. And
right,
so they saw these things, and they call them shields, flying shields, and fiery because they were often glowing. So, I mean, if you consider this, no wonder that there is, well, it's really difficult to say because myself, I mean, I've been studying this phenomenon for more than 20 years now, but I didn't really find an explanation why in Italy there seems to be, I mean, people seem to be more acquainted with this. Maybe it could be that, we have the Catholic Church here, so we are so used to angel flying. I don't know, but I mean, this is just, a guess of
well,
mine.
can I
It's
just
really.
can
Mhm,
if you don't mind me,
mhm.
can I interrupt for just a second? Um, there's let's say there's a rumor the Vatican is aware of UAP. Now, and I've even heard a birdie whistling in my ear. There might be something coming out from the Vatican about that. Would you know something about that? Maybe.
No, unfortunately, I do not have any elements in my possession. I really don't know anything about this. I mean, there have been signs by the Vatican, increasing signs by the Vatican of an attention to the UAP UFO phenomenon. Okay, and
Yeah.
that's fine. There has been, by the way, there has been. I don't remember how many years ago, but I think 8 years ago, more or less, a book called. It was called Jesus. It's called Jesus, UFO and Aliens,
Right.
which was written. But the important point is that this was written by a theologian, Armin Kramer, I think, a German
Mhm.
citizen, who wrote this book. And I mean, if you judge just by the title, it's a bit astonishing, but it is interesting because it's a reflection on what is called the Christology, seen in a cosmic perspective, because until now we have considered that Jesus Christ only came to this earth to save this humanity, blah blah blah.
Right.
But the reasoning of this theologian goes like this. Okay, then we discover aliens, we discover ETs, other intelligent beings somewhere in the universe. So what happened to them? Did they committed PT? What happened? Did Jesus Christ have to go incarnate over there to save them as he did here on the earth? Who knows? So I mean, of course, this is a rather technical book. It's not an easy reading book. It's a technical book for
Mm. Right.
theologians. Okay, so, but this is interesting because it's a sign of an internal debate and or of an internal attention, if you want,
Mhm.
to this subject. Also, when the Pope Francis recently told, if one day one of a Martian came here and yes, a Martian, those little green men with antennas, like he'd paint them. No, if he ever exactly if he ever comes here and say, I want to be baptized, what can I do? Of course. I mean, this is. I take this. I mean, this is my opinion. I do not have any concrete element to say anything sure for sure, but
Yes.
these are in my opinion, signs that something is changing also in the church, because it has to be remembered that the church never had a explicit position on the UFO, UAP, or ET subjects.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
the rumor is the Vatican has been sitting on some information for decades, centuries maybe,
Hmm.
and well, there might be a slow drip of information coming out from the Catholic Church,
Hmm.
which could be interesting. Um, Now, on that note, there's a big correlation between, let's say, Catholic symbolism and UAP. It's even in art,
Hmm.
paintings, churches. Is that something you yourself, or maybe your colleagues from ICER or the CUN, have ever um, took a deep dive into? Has that ever been investigated? What it could be?
Well, properly speaking, I'm not aware of any specific investigation on this subject. We know that there are quite a number of old paintings,
Yes.
century-old paintings that depict something that nowadays we could call UFO or UAP. But I mean, to my knowledge, specific research has never been done on this, at least as far as the CUN is concerned.
Yeah. Okay. So, sir, to get back to the knowledge of the general Italian public about UAP, there are some very high-profile cases, and that's an understatement, from within Italy. So let me just kick in the barn doors like a cowboy and address the elephant in the room. And this is and this is what all my viewers, the audience, has been waiting for, and that is, the Mussolini UAP, and the telegram, or telegrams, I should say, that were donated to Mr. Pinotti, because he is the one who got hold of them. And to do a short introduction, those have been analyzed, and they uh, were found to be authentic.
Yes.
Now, we're talking about a 1933 UFO recovery in Italy. UFO recovery in Italy, I think it was. Now, I've asked you before, was it a crashed vehicle, or was it something that was dug up, like an archaeological finding?
Well, I can tell you that, according to my knowledge, it was not dug up. Repeat, not. It was something that landed and or crash landed. In any case, it landed. It was not a retrieval. That was
Yeah.
sure. And if I can show the part of the documents that we have nowadays, can I share the image, Max? Can I go?
Yes, sir, for sure. We're waiting for
Mm-hmm.
it.
Okay. Share screen, finestra. Okay. There we are. So you should be seeing this. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see
Mm-hmm.
it.
So this is a telegram. This telegram was sent by the news agency. The Stefani was the name, news agency, which was the only official news agency of the time. I mean,
Right.
there were no other. So they were the guardian of the truth, so to speak. So
Right.
this is a telegram which is called, which is classified riservatissimo, which means confidential, and it has the highest priority. The highest. I don't know if you see my mouse pointer moving.
I
Do
do.
you
We
see
do.
it? Okay, good.
Yes. Yeah.
So I am indicating here the precedenza lampo means the highest priority of all.
Yeah.
It's signed by the General Director of Special Affairs of this agency, and
Mhm.
it's dated June 13th of 1933 at 16 hours. So the text, which I have translated below, it says, by superior order, it is disposed to treat the news diffused with Stephanie's dispatch number 6631C of today as follows. Aircraft above recognized as Meteor, repeats Meteor, by the Brera Astronomical Observatory, which is was the most important observatory at the time, give minimum graphic relevance to the news. No need, repeat, no need to correct, minimize, immediate confirmation of receipt required, signed by the Director of Special Affairs. So this is was sent at 16 hours and makes and refers to another telegram of the same day, which unfortunately is not available. It's not available. So first of all, we have this telegram, and this is the cover up. We are seeing the cover up at work.
A
The
meteor.
aircraft, yes, it's not an aircraft, is a meteor
Right.
by the main astronomical observatory of Italy. This
Okay.
was at 16 hours.
Yeah. So to add a little
Then,
bit of context,
mhm,
people, you have to imagine this is in the heyday of former fascist dictator Benito Mussolini.
it was
Um,
yes, it was the 11th year of the Mussolini regime.
right.
Yes, 11th.
Okay. So continue, sir. Sorry.
Mhm. So the text of this, which has the same classification, the same priority, and sent to all, tutti means all the offices. So the text
Tutti
is
frutti.
of tutti, exactly, of personal order of the Duce, that is Mussolini. So it was Mussolini in person who ordered this. It is disposed immediate, repeat, immediate arrest of diffusion of the news related to aircraft of unknown nature and origin, aircraft of unknown nature and origin, of
Okay.
which in this dispatch of Stephanie, date today 7:30, the one that we do not have. Immediate recasting of any leads from the newspaper bearing said news is ordered. So eliminate any trace of this. The
Wow.
maximum penalties for transgressors are foreseen up to referring to the Supreme Court for state security. Immediate confirmation of receipt is required. So you see, this is Mussolini here personally disposes the immediate arrest of the diffusion of this news.
Yeah.
Then we have another one. Where is it? This one is not dated. It has the same classification, same priority. This one seems a bit like a draft, maybe. In any
Mhm.
case, it says by personal order of the Duce, absolute silence is order on presumed landing on national soil of unknown aircraft. Stop. Version to publish, diffused with today's dispatch by Stephanie, is confirmed. That is it's a meteor. Same version also for staff and journalists. Maximum penalties for transgressor, blah, blah, blah. Immediate confirmation of receipt is requested. So we see that we have at least 4 telegrams on this matter, on this event, on that
Wow.
day. So, and we see that Mussolini personally ordered the arrest of the diffusion of the news. So, it's something which was really considered very important.
Now again,
Then, mhm,
now again, for the viewers, these documents are verified, authentic.
mhm,
Just to me, be clear about that. Please
yes,
continue, sir.
Yes, Roberto Pinotti, who is, I already spoke about him. He received not all, but most of these documents. He were received by him by an anonymous sender. So we do not know who is the person who sent these documents. But in any
Are you
case,
sure?
he,
Are
yes,
you sure you
yes.
don't know who it is?
I don't know. I asked Roberto many times if he knew, but he said no. We can have some hint, but in any case, was someone acquainted with someone very top level? Because we have, for instance, you see this other document,
Mhm.
which is logically related to the three telegrams that we have seen before. By the way, if you see this symbol, this
Yes.
is the letterhead of the Senate of Italy.
Right.
Senato del Regno means Senate of the Reign of Italy, because it was a reign in 1933. So this is it means a personal, very confidential note. First, inform the prefetto, the representative of the government, or local representative of the government. Second, arrange for the immediate retrieval of the aircraft. Third, stop and arrest all the witnesses, and give orders to the local section. The local section of the Ovra is the like the Italian Gestapo, so to speak, the secret police of state,
Wow.
and mhm. And this, this was the disposition to alert the local section of the Ovra, which concerns which is in charge of the RS-33 relation. We'll see what this RS-33 means.
Yes,
Then,
I'm curious.
mhm. Well, I can tell you for sure now. It's the equivalent, the Italian equivalent of the Majestic 12. It's called
Wow. Well, no,
RS.
it's sorry, that just blew my mind.
Mhm.
I didn't know there was a
Exactly.
Italian task force at the time,
Mhm.
which is news
Yes.
to me.
Yes, this is called RS-33, which stands for Ricerche Speciali, special researches, 33 because of the year when it was created. And it was, they say that it was, the president was Guglielmo Marconi.
Hmm.
And it had a good number of high level scientists working in this. So, very exactly like the Majestic 12.
Wow.
So we go on. Fourth point, address every report with the highest secrecy, classified at the highest possible level and top priority over all the other communications. So address every report to the Central Meteorological Office at the La Sapienza University of Rome, which is was the most important university in Italy, slash Gabinetto RS-33. That is the one I told you before, the Italian Majestic 12.
Right,
Then
right.
fifth, stop the diffusion of every news, specifically on the press. So stop without any just stop the diffusion of any news concerning this matter. Six, for this, in order to implement what is disposed in point 5, it is necessary to publish every now and then very short article where the phenomenon is reported and described as an astronomic astronomic event, a meteor, shooting star, or things like that.
Right, a
So
natural phenomenon.
yes, it's interesting that it's specified very clearly. It's necessary to publish every now and then very short articles where the phenomenon is described as meteor, shooting stars, and so on. Then, seventh, the transmission of the reports to the Italian Air Force must be authorized by the authorities of RS-33, which and their decisions are inappellable in the sense that cannot be discussed in any case. So six. Exclusion. No other scientific body must take part, must be informed of these reports, included the University of the Vatican. Then nine,
Mm,
that's accounting. That's an accounting disposition. Then all the expenses have to be now I don't know exactly the English term for that, but in any case, this is just an accounting procedure for
right.
any expenses that which are needed for the studies and so on. Then it's
A
written
budget, a
here
budget.
below. Yes, budget. Thanks, Max. Below here is written, do not protocol. Never ever protocol this document. So this document in these 2 pages had to remain totally anonymous and not to be subject to protocol of any kind. So I remember this is the letterhead of the Senate of Italy, of the reign of Italy. So this is something that was sent. I mean, these 2 pages were sent along with the 3 telegrams that we have seen here.
Yeah.
So what happened? There is one thing which should be remembered. If they say that if they speak of aircraft or aircraft of unknown nature and origin, they really know what they mean, because at that time the Air Force was kept in very high regard personally by Mussolini. So he was very proud of his Air Force, and so if they say aircraft of unknown nature and origin, this is really what it was, something that could not have been identified, because they knew very well all the other aircraft built by
Yeah.
the competitors, you
Yeah,
see.
so let me give a little bit of context to the viewers.
Hmm.
And at the time, the Italian Air Force was actually very advanced.
Hmm.
Um, People think because the Italian army didn't really perform
Hmm.
in combat. And that wasn't because of the state of the army or their technology. It was because of bad leadership, actually. But they had a very, very state of the art army
Hmm.
at the time. So these professionals were able to, separate UAP from known aircraft.
They really knew what they were talking about, to tell it properly. And the Air Force was really, well, the Italian Air Force at the time was one of the most advanced in the world. And the problem, you know what, Max? The real problem was not that much in leadership, but in the underlying industrial capacity.
Right.
That was that was the problem. Italy made very nice, very fine aircraft during the World War II, but did not have the industrial, how can I say, proper industrial background capacity to build in great numbers. In any
Ah,
case,
understood.
and by the way, this image shows the place, the location of the crash, of the landing. It's not far from Milan
Hmm.
and not far from Varese, that you see here. So this is the general area where this aircraft would have landed or crashed landing. We don't know for sure.
Now, sir, if I
Hmm.
can interrupt for one more time,
Hmm.
I've heard the vehicle was a silver disc. And that is that true, or is that something that is ever been?
I cannot say. Honestly speaking, I cannot say. I mean, I heard many stories on this, but I prefer to remain. I mean, with with my feet on on the ground, as we say in Italy. I mean, I heard many stories, but I don't know really if it was what kind of shape it had.
Is
Uh,
there any account in the telegrams? In
No,
the telegram
no,
no.
no, no,
All
no,
right.
no, no. Uh, I'm showing this image because this is that was a hangar or one or more hangar which were the property of the society CI Marchetti, which
Mm,
was one of the top producer of aircraft at that time.
mm.
And they said that this vehicle of or what remained of this vehicle was conserved, was stored here in this facility, this
Now, are we
in a
talking
hangar.
about like the Italian Area 51 or S4?
Well, you know what? 51 or X4 are specifically designated localities for this kind of activities. This
Mm,
was a facility where that was in the vicinity of the landing site that they used, which was on hand to store these debris or this craft, whatever it was. So, I mean, no,
yeah.
I would not call it the Italian Area 51. It might have become, I mean, after, but it was not meant for this. In any case, it's interesting to see that during the war, this was not bombed. I mean, this facility was not bombed by another facility, but there was another facility a few kilometers from there which was bombed 8 or 9 times, sort of. So, I mean,
This
is it
was
a
spared, huh?
coincidence? Who knows why? I mean, I don't know. I cannot say, but this is what it happened. This was spared. It was not bombed, while other local facilities nearby were heavily bombed, like practically every facility of this kind in Italy at the end of the
Yeah.
war.
So I have another question. um, so Mr. Mussolini, he was very aware of this unknown craft crashed within the country, and I think we talked about this. He was worried it was a secret German technology, and there was something else going on surrounding that craft. Would you please
Hmm.
tell us?
Yes, that's an interesting development that became known to us, at least in Italy, 10 years ago or 11 years ago. No, I think it's 11 years ago right now, when at one of the symposia in San Marino in 2010, it was, we had this intervention by this gentleman named William Brophy. This
Yeah.
gentleman from the US said that his father was an officer in the US Air Force, and that when he was in his duty was had the possibility, it was shown the bodies kept under formalin of two aliens, of the classical Nordic aliens, so to speak. Bodies a bit damaged,
Yeah.
but easily recognizable. I mean, and they were the classic kind of Nordic aliens,
Yeah.
and it
So
was. Mhm.
yeah. So there could be an easy mix up because they could be just a bunch of Germans.
Yes, exactly. And this is interesting. I mean, because this gentleman, Brophy, William Brophy, said that his father was also was told that these two bodies were confiscated in Italy, in northern Italy, at the end of the war
By
by
the
the U.S.
Americans.
Army, by the
Mm.
U.S. Army, which of course brought them to the U.S. So there are speculations, indeed, that Mussolini could have been induced to ally with Germany because he could have thought that these two aliens were indeed Germans, and
Yeah.
that aircraft was that landed or crash landed in northern Italy was actually a Wunderwaffen, one of those
Secret. Yeah.
special weapons that the Germans were secretly developing and that were fabled or already at the time. I mean, not just today. So, I mean, well, it's difficult to say if this is really true.
Yeah. So you send
But
me
I mean, hmm
the footage of Mr. Brophy
hmm
telling his father's story. But then again, it's very anecdotal, and
exactly.
uh, but the
You
problem
see,
the
Max,
problem
sorry,
here.
sorry to interrupt you. No, no, you
Yeah,
see,
sure.
the problem is that apart from these documents, these telegrams, and a few others that exist, there are not so many tangible evidence on this. There's a lot of voices, rumors, and so on. But I mean, this is the problem. Also, the existence of this RS-33 cabinet was really uncertain because I mean the scholars who tried to did some research on this. Well, I have to say that the subject of the hypothetical existence of this RS-33 cabinet RS-33,
Mm.
well, it was not seriously researched by scholars. So I
Mm.
mean, to be I think there it would be really would be necessary that some serious scholars do serious research, dig in deeply into the state archives of Italy
Mm.
of that time to see if, because I mean I know that someone did some researches, but um, not specifically spot on. Someone found some traces of RS-33, but searching for other things, you see. So it was not their original objective of research. So
Now,
I mean, it's necessary to have a spot on, a specific research on this RS-33 at that time, starting from June 33.
so sir, being part of the Italian ICER, hasn't anyone ever did the Italian equivalent of a FOIA request on the RS-33 case?
Not to my knowledge, not to my knowledge. And
Now
indeed,
that
this
would be
is.
the first thing I would do.
Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. But you know what, Max? I mean, I'm in little more than 1 year. I will retire. So I think I will have the possibility to go myself searching to do some serious searching on this subject, and we'll see, because you know that I mean it's not it's easy to say, it's easy to talk, but I mean if we want to be serious, we have to talk about tangible evidence, and to have tangible evidence, it needs to do a lot of digging into the
Yes.
archives, and this
So
is
I know,
something which is very painful and slow.
sure. So I know Mr. Pinotti is also a journalist, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
and he was the one who got hand of the telegrams. Now I could, well, if I'm a journalist myself, and if I had knowledge of these telegrams, I have them in my possession. Knowledge of the RS-33, I could imagine that the first thing Mr. Pinotti would do is look into the RS-33, requesting documentation.
Hmm.
Do you know if Mr. Pinotti ever made an effort about that?
I don't know. I don't know for sure. I know that he did. I did various activities to in order to ascertain the consistency and the veracity of these documents. I mean, with the forensic analysis and so on by different experts, not just one. But I do not know actually if Mr. Pinotti has ever done this kind of things. But there is one thing to say, Max. In the U.S., the FOIA, Freedom of Information Access Law,
Mhm.
is a very well working mechanism. In Italy, you know what? There is not something specifically like that.
Okay.
I mean, you know what? In the U.S., you have this act, this law, which specifies that you have the possibility of asking blah blah blah, and the government body have to reply properly and so on. In Italy, there is not a specific law like this, so the legislature in this respect is a bit of a hazy. You see, this is the problem,
Right.
and this does not help. Unfortunately, this does not help those who would like to do a serious investigation on this subject.
Yes. This is very interesting. So, for researchers and in San Marino, ICER and user Lou were elaborating during the lecture I attended on the Titan project, and that is that actually people like me or my family, Vinny Adams Disclosure Team, or Sean Roche, Witness Citizen, who are covering this on a micro level, are actually doing the work, the research mainstream media should do. And this is maybe the key to disclosure. So the people who are watching this, hearing this, look into this. Try to find out if you're Italian. See if you can make a request and dig up some more information, which would be great. Um, to continue about Italian cases, let's stop for a minute in the Netherlands. Let's stop for a minute.
Mhm.
There is a very compelling case in the Netherlands called the Soesterberg case. You were just talking about the year 1979. We've had our biggest case in that year over here. 12 Dutch military men were witness to a UAP hovering above a shared Dutch American military airbase.
Hmm.
Um, yes. Um, and there were supposedly nuclear weapons. Now,
Mhm.
my question to you is, whenever there was a UAP sighting or phenomenon the past decades, is there a pattern of them being near places where there's either a military nuclear site, maybe run by the Americans, or maybe some where there's nuclear power being made?
Mhm. Yes, yes, Max, there are indeed. I mean, this kind of pattern can easily be recognized in many, sorry, in many different countries. It happened. There are there are a few cases said to have happened in Italy, but there's nothing really. sure, I mean, in Italy. There are a lot of cases in other countries, and also the Russians. I mean, if you remember the interview with the General Savin, which was published, I think, on the Pravda online in 2013, if I remember well. He says that they noticed that whenever they moved troops, material, and so on, UFOs popped up immediately, all the times.
Hmm.
And this is not the only person who said this. There are also other. I mean, I heard also of other uh, top level officers who were aware of this in the in the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
So I mean, no wonder that this happened. It happened in Rendlesham. It happened in the Netherlands. It happened in Kapustin in Soviet Union. It happened many other places.
So let me get back to the Italian soil or area. Um, well, there was a case of a high level of microwave power, and let me see. This source of radiation
Hmm.
was about 60 kilometers separated from the Italian shores, right?
Hmm.
And there
In the
was a
sea.
U. Yeah, there was a USO event reported. Can you maybe
Hmm.
elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, Max, it would take hours because it's not just one event. It's a series of events,
Right,
weird events that happened in a very small village in the northern shore of Sicily,
right.
northeastern shore of Sicily.
Hmm.
The most evident phenomena was or were spontaneous fire,
Yeah,
which started abruptly, burning things that you would not imagine that could burn easily. Uh, if you think in a house, what could burn easily? An
the
electric
couch.
circuit. a- an electric circuit, if there is a short circuit, that could burn. Say it could be the fridge. It could be, some electrical appliance. But what happened that was burning? I mean, things that started to burn were boots, chairs, or mattresses
Hmm.
even, or roofs. The beams of the roof, sort of. So it was something really weird, and it was also a bit dangerous. And in any case, it went on for a long time and led to evacuation of the local population for at least a couple of weeks, if I remember well. But it was not only that. There were many cases of UFO sightings, USO sightings as well, so
Yeah,
which were reported by the local population. So
yeah,
I mean,
which is quite rare for Europe. You don't hear too many
hmm
USO
hmm
cases. Yeah,
No. In Italy, there are USO. I mean, of course, there's a lot of sea around Italy, so also USO are not so rare after all. But in any case, concerning what happened to this small locality, this small village which is called Canneto di Caronia. Three words:
hmm,
Canneto di Caronia. It was something really strange. And also, there was this event of the helicopter, which was damaged in flight,
right.
which is really something definitely strange because, it was a helicopter of it's called Protezione Civile, a civil body, which means civil protection, so to speak.
Yeah, basically a
So,
police helicopter.
not properly, not properly. In any case, it was a civil helicopter, was doing shuttle flight, nothing
Mm.
special, and with three or four persons on board. And then all of a sudden, the helicopter was shaken, boom, as if it had hit something. The rotor had hit something, sort of. It became, in any case, the pilot managed to do a safe landing, even if
Yeah.
it was not easy because it was damaged. And when they landed and went to check for the body of the craft to see what happened, they saw that the blade, one of the blade, had a kind of hole like this. But
Right.
what is strange is that this hole was in the back. The
Back rotor.
the
The back rotor.
Yes, the back of the rotor. So
Hmm.
it was not something that, because you, of course, you could imagine that flying, turning the rotor could have hit something, but of course, this something would have been hit from the leading edge, not
Right.
the trailing edge, of course.
Hmm.
And instead, it was in back in the trailing edge that was this hole, and it looked like as there was a sort of vapor explosion. When the water explodes and forms vapor and explodes,
Hmm. Hmm.
sort of like when lightning strikes a tree, which boom
So
explodes
it,
because the
it
water
wasn't
inside.
like it wasn't like a bullet hole or something.
Not properly. It looked like something that had exploded from within. You see,
Uh-huh.
Mm,
Like
I mean,
imploded.
uh, not imploded when there is violent, how can I say, movement inward. In this
Right.
case, it was outward. I'm
Hmm.
not an expert, so I cannot say that much after all, on this. But in any case, it was strange. And what makes the whole things even stranger is that when there was a person on the ground who was in the area, and he had a camera with him. He noted this helicopter that at a certain point was emitting a strange noise and was clearly having problems. Was not flying straight, but it was how can I say, a bit shaking. So it took some pictures, and in these pictures you could see the helicopter. The resolution was not so very big, but you could see nonetheless the helicopter here going this way like this, and
Uh-huh.
and in the back a white sphere. It looked like a sphere. So
Yeah.
what was it? Was
Where's
it
the
something
picture?
that shot? Sorry.
Where's the picture?
The picture I didn't. I should search for it. If you just give me a moment.
We have all the time in the world, Mr. Guizzardi.
I like it very much. I like it very much, Max. Let me see if I can find it easy. I'm sorry, but I did not uh, prepare
No, don't worry
this.
about it.
And
Let me talk to our audience for just 1 second. They have a lot of
Mhm.
questions.
Yes, please go ahead.
So what do we have here? Okay. So JML asks, is there a Mussolini archive? I guess to be more specific on UAP, I think it's very clear that the only thing that exists on that are the telegrams that Mr. Guizzardi just shared with us. Um, but I do have a question for Paolo, if I am allowed
Hmm.
to say your first name. Very cheeky. Uh,
Hmm.
but there are rumors that the recovered UAP, the Mussolini UAP, was taken to the United States for investigation.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Um, and if there were alien, like presumably alien bodies recovered, now that is something that hits home with, for example, Roswell, Area 51,
Hmm.
S4, etc. Something
Yes.
to be, yeah.
And
Com-
you know what, Max? It's interesting to see that. I mean, we are all familiar with what happened in Roswell, but I mean, 14 years before, one World War before, and
yeah,
a totally different environment. I mean, the fascist Italy of Mussolini. In
yeah,
1933, we had this crash, and we see already all the ingredients of the recipe at work. We see
right.
the immediate secrecy. We see the cover up. We see the start of high level scientific studies, secret high level scientific studies. And
So
this,
one,
I
so
repeat,
one,
14 years before.
yeah, so one could make a case the Americans learned from the Italians on how to cover up.
I don't know really. I don't know, but I don't know how and if the Americans were aware of this. I don't think they were, but I mean it's. I mean, knowing how it works within military slash intelligence environment, I mean, it's perfectly understandable. I don't say justifiable or not, but I mean, it's perfectly understandable because the technological value of that device that fell in Italy in 1933, like the technological value of what crashed into Roswell in 1947 was immediately understood by the local military authorities, and
Right.
of course they started eagerly to study it, hoping to have the possibility to replicate it, because the one who can find a way to replicate these spectacular vehicles, who would, for military purpose, would have found the holy grail of military air supremacy. You see, so it's very simple. I mean, no wonder that this happened. I mean, if that would have happened in the and the witness was San Francesco d'Assisi, Saint Francis. He could
Mm,
have thought of angelic manifestation or sort,
right.
maybe, but not in the Italy of 1933, which was already capable of producing good quality aircraft. I mean, they were
Yeah.
already aware that it was possible to build machines that could fly. So they immediately understood that what crashed was a machine that
Mm,
could fly, and very likely could fly in an incredibly performant way for the time and still for today.
right. Yeah. So the first question, let's summarize a little bit.
Uh,
Uh,
mhm.
Sorry.
Yes,
Let's
please
summarize
go ahead.
the. Okay, so we we have a very advanced Italian Air Force. They can separate technology from something unknown. Now, something was recovered. There's telegrams being sent to the highest level of the government. Um, Now, Mussolini was very concerned this could be German technology, might be even his motivation to join the Axis forces. Um,
Mhm.
the Americans conquer Italy. They might, get their hands on this amazing piece of technology. And what do? They want a piece of that. They take it back to the United States. And now technology is advancing in a very rapid motion. And, you know, the other things like Roswell happen, etc., etc. Now, do you think that, in hypothetically, that technological um, advancements were made because of these recoveries, because this is
Mhm.
basically what people are hinting at. Even Senator Harry Reid, who I've interviewed, said he looked into going to Lockheed Martin, Skunk Works, and check out whatever they were, engineering over there.
Hmm.
Of course, this is all very speculative, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I do not have those many more elements for judgment than what you are, Max, than what you have. I mean, so what to say? I think that it's. I mean, this possibility is indeed. It has a certain degree of how can I say credibility. I don't say it is real. I cannot say it because I do not have any element to say that. But I think that it is. It has a good percentage of credibility, of possibility, not credibility, possibility. Indeed,
Possibility.
yes.
Yeah. So shout out to my fellow Dutchman, Dutch UAP disclosure, Will Ferret. Thank you for your support, sir. And well, he's a very, very loyal viewer, and well, love you to death, man. So let's elaborate a little bit on current cases.
Hmm.
Uh, n-
Sorry, Max. Sorry to interrupt you. I found some pictures that could be interesting concerning the Canneto di Caronia events.
oh, yeah, what we
If
were
I
looking
may
for.
show,
Yeah.
yes, thanks. So, share screen. Okay, Finestra. Where is it? Where is it? Let me see if I can find it. Because when you search for something, okay, there it is.
Uh,
So this one, then I have to go here. Okay, so let me just, sorry for moving so quickly.
shall I
Images.
shall
Okay,
I
so
take?
you can, I think you should see rather well here. This is a fire.
Can you click it?
Yes. So this is
Right.
one of the fires. You see
Mhm.
that was an. This is quite an important fire. I mean, it's not just a small thing. This is another another fire which
Yeah.
was
So for the
burning
audience,
in.
we are looking at the very weird Sicilian fires that were not
Hmm.
that weren't explained. Things caught fire that shouldn't catch fire.
You see,
Yeah.
for instance, a part of a chair, another plastic chair. I mean, things like that,
Mhm.
and so this is one coat just when it was burning.
Mm.
So you see, I
Yeah.
mean, this is not something that you would imagine that catches fire so easily. And this is another image. You see,
Of a
this is
toilet.
it's a toilet. You see,
Yeah.
you see the just burns,
Mhm.
and this is another image of a fire. From this, you can understand they were not small fires. I mean, they really put into danger the whole habitation, the
Yeah.
sorry, the houses, properly speaking. So now, what we have here, this is this is the picture of the helicopter blade. So you
Right.
see, this is not. This is I mean, this is not the effect of a bullet. It could be
Weird. Yeah.
the exit hole of the bullet, but not. You see, it's difficult. I mean, of course, I am not an expert in this, so I can just make judgments on the common sense. So, but in any case, this is not anything that you would expect from a bullet.
No.
You see. And
Yeah,
let me see if I can find other images, because there is also there was also in the image of the helicopter in flight with the
UAP.
UAP in behind. Let me see if I can find it properly. Of course, when you search for something.
Yeah.
This is another image where, so here you have one helicopter,
Mhm.
and this you have something which should not be there actually.
Yeah, the black
Don't
tic tac.
know. Sort of.
Yeah.
But this is not the picture I'm at. Also, there is another image, which is this one,
Mhm.
which is, I mean, taken from the sea, and this is the shore. And
Right.
there are these two devices here. I mean, the quality is low, but in any case, this is another
Yeah.
picture that was taken at that time.
Right.
And let me see. In any case, there are many images here that you can find. And this is the picture of the helicopter, you see. So this is the helicopter
Right.
right here. And this is what is this? Difficult to say. This
Can you
happened,
can you zoom in on
yes?
the pictures or
You mean to zoom?
yeah, yeah.
I'm zooming. Okay, like this. This is okay. I think that it's difficult to go to zoom
Right.
more. This happened 2006.
Right.
This is when the gentleman who was on the ground noticed that the helicopter was behaving as if it was in some sort of danger, and took this image. And then when he looked at the picture later, he found this device, this who knows what it is here. And again, this is another image of the same hole, this one,
Right.
seen
Right.
from below. This is seen from below, you see, and this is seen at the same height.
Right.
So
Yep.
it says that the analysis that was performed into specialized laboratories excluded any trace of organic material. I mean, that was not a bird, that was not a living thing that hit this part of the rotor. And what is interesting is that the researchers have found that there is a variation in the electrical conducibility. I think it's the term. I mean, the resistance of the material to the electric current has changed here in this area.
Okay.
So what does this mean? I don't know, but this is what has been ascertained. And also here there are, this is a picture of this is just a plant which apparently took fire.
Hmm.
This took fire, and only itself. I mean, difficult to say, but it looks like only that plant burned, not the surrounding. Then there, what is this? These are mussels, a great number of mussels. I mean, this is a collection of pictures of weird events that happened between 2004 and 2006, which was the
Okay.
period when these weird events happened. So this is, okay, no, I have to stop sharing now.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're going to have this effect. Where is
Yeah.
it? Stop
I'll
sharing.
I'll take it out.
Okay, thanks. So you see, I mean, we could talk for hours on these events, which went on for 1.5 years, if I remember well, around
Yeah.
2005, a bit. I mean, some months before and some months later.
Yeah.
And it's really a collection of strange events. And there was a commission, official commission, which was set up by order of the Italian government of the time, and they went on for some months doing very specific researches, and they found that they found that a very high level of microwave was emitted,
Mhm.
and it was emitted in very short bursts. In the sense that the bursts were very short, their power was very, very high, and the frequency of these bursts of radio frequency was extremely high, many, many gigahertz, so to speak. So
Yes.
they managed to triangulate, to identify the source of this emission, which was not easy because the pulses were really, really short, were very, very, very brief. And they
Mhm.
found that they came from 60, 70 kilometers north of Canneto di Caronia. And what it
Right.
is interesting is that it is 60, 70 kilometers north of that location, there is just open sea.
Right. And
So
we were
what
just
was
talking
that?
about yeah, that was the USO case, right? Yeah.
Who knows? Also, I mean, by the way, the official report of these commission of studies was never made public. By the way,
Ah,
we
that's
know
interesting.
we heard, I mean, from people who are in the know, that they stated this. I mean, the emission of high level of pulse, radio frequency at very high frequencies and very high levels of power,
Hmm.
and that came from somewhere in the sea. And
Mm.
it looks like that there was also someone who found that it was something that was deliberately emitted.
Right.
But I mean, the problem is that the official report on the works of this commission were never made available, were never released publicly. So I heard many voices, really, believe me, Max, really many
Mm.
voices, but it's always difficult. It's always difficult to say something for sure, because I don't like to speak of on the base of voices, because I mean, I prefer
Y-
to say something that I know, or that I reasonably am sure of what I'm saying. But in this case, it is really difficult to say more. For sure, a lot of weird events happened for a long time. Also dangerous events like fires in
Right.
houses, and the population had to be evacuated for a couple of weeks. So something really strange has indeed happened in northeast Sicily.
Yeah. We get it. A series of strange events, including fires, sightings, and
Hmm.
Italian government involvement. Now, I have two more questions that I really would like to, touch down
Hmm.
on. So there's accounts of Italian military pilots engaging UAP um, near Trieste, um,
Hmm.
Istrana airfield, right?
Yes,
Um,
yes,
so
yes.
yeah, okay,
I can tell you something on this specifically.
sure,
Let me just make some order here, because I want to close
for
these
sure.
windows that I have
Let me
opened
let me use
before.
my let me use my time to give a big shout out to Ray. Thank you
Hmm.
for your
Hmm.
endorsement, sir. And Laura Sosa, thank you. lovely lady, for the super sticker and your endorsement. Much appreciated.
Okay, so this one is closed, and now, yes, Max. So this is a case which happened in 1976 in June. So now let me again. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, now, okay, I can. Okay, now I need to share my screen. Wait. Now first stop, then share
Thank you,
screen.
JML.
Thanks. Okay, there we are, condividi. Okay, so now we are in northeast Italy, 1976. The
Yes.
area is the city of Treviso that you
Mm,
can see here, which
right.
is 25 kilometers north from Venice, which is here. So what happened? One day there was a military pilot who was coming back to his base after a mission of photographic reconnaissance in the Apennines south. So he was flying more or less in this direction
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken,
because
this was Marshal Maurizio Cecconi. Cecconi.
Cecconi, exactly,
Cecconi.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Maurizio Cecconi was a maresciallo, I mean, is the military ranking, maresciallo pilota. So he was coming this way, was coming from northwest to southeast because he was meant to land back to his base in Istrana, the military airport, which is more or less here,
Right.
west of Treviso. When he was more or less close, he got a radio call from his own airport saying, "Listen, we have seen a strange activity over the Treviso airport. Please go and see." So it was vectored to Treviso, and when he managed to arrive there, no, wait, when he managed to arrive there, this is what he found. So below here, we see the airport of Treviso.
Yeah.
This here is the town of Treviso. And he saw this object here, which is described like a black flying tank, around 8 meters, 10 meters of length, with 1.5 of height, more or less, with a
Right.
small white dome here, more or less. It's not very well visible here. And what is interesting, okay, now we have, wait, I want to put them side by side just to have an idea. No, this is not the one. Okay.
We
So
only see the map for now.
wait, you should see the image, don't you?
No.
No. Oh, wait. So maybe it's necessary to do one at a time. So
Maybe,
this,
yeah.
now you see the object.
You have to share again, I guess.
Sorry. Okay. Where are you? Share screen. Okay. Finestra. There it is. So
Yeah.
this object is what he found when he was vectored over the airport of Treviso, which is this one here below. And he
So this is,
described this.
yeah, this
Yes.
is the picture. This is the picture you made, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
because he had the possibility to take 82 pictures because his plane was equipped with reconnaissance cameras. He had a good number, 3 or 4 of these cameras, one on the front, one below, and 2 on the sides. So
Yeah.
he took quite a number of pictures because he still had film to use, 82, he said. And he said that this device looked pretty much like a flying tank, black flying tank, 8 to 10 meters long and 1.5 to 2 high,
Yeah.
with a small whitish dome here, more or less. So he noted that this device remained. I mean, first of all, he noted that this remained stationary. It did not move because, I mean, if it was if it was a balloon, like many argued, it would have moved very easily with the wind, while that one did not move. And there was more. When he wanted to fly on the side of it, because he wanted to take a picture of the side of the object, he found that it was not possible because the object kept on pointing this part towards him.
Right.
So, first of all, it did not move, it was stationary and
Now, take
kept on
into account this
following
was the
him.
year of 1976. These are not
79, yes,
oh,
79.
70, oh 79. Okay, so
Yes.
these are not drones. There were no drones.
No, no, not at all, not at all. And like the Tic Tac of Commander Fravor, he kept on pointing at his plane. So he never did manage to take an image of the sides because he circled many times around it, and rather, I mean, at short distance, 70, 80 meters, not more.
Right.
And he noticed that it was not possible to take a picture of the side because the object kept on pointing towards him. The
Like
object also moved vertically.
like
Then
that.
at a certain moment, it was when it saw when he saw it the first time, it was more or less 3,000 meters. Then moved up to no 3,000 feet. Then moved up to 3,000 feet, and then went a bit up and down, but moving vertically. Then at a certain moment, he did 3 or 4 passages around it, following the object as it moved vertically. So after 3 or 4 passages, at a certain moment, he got a radio call from the tower. So he had, which distracted him for a moment, and when he turned again to check visually the object, it had disappeared. So
Right.
it is interesting that this device was seen on the radar by the ground radar, was seen by observer visually by ground observer with their binoculars, was seen visually by the pilot. So, I mean, this is a rather complex case. So, I
Yeah.
mean, this cannot be a balloon because, I mean, a balloon doesn't have the capacity of reflecting radar waves. So, and
Yeah,
of
and
course,
a balloon won't like keep pointing at you whatever
exactly,
direction you
exactly,
go. Yeah.
exactly. And also, grazie. Also, it moved vertically up and down for some good amount of thousand of feet, and consider that a balloon would have been shattered, literally shattered by a plane passing nearby at 400, 500 kilometers per hour. So,
Hmm.
and this did not happen. I mean, it's interesting to see the similarities of this case with the with the Tic Tac UFO of Commander Fravor. The only real difference was that it
Well,
was not over the ocean, but it was on the ground. You see,
one of our viewers was ahead of you. He said, "Sounds
this
an
is
awful." Yeah.
mhm. This is the pilot, Maresciallo Cecconi. That
Hmm.
you can see him here. This is the cameras devices that he had on his nose, 1, 2, and 3 on the
Right.
nose, you see. And
Yeah.
this is an image of the, thanks to the site silverland.info, which is a very good Italian site. This
Yeah.
is the G9, the Fiat, because Fiat made for some years made also planes. Fiat
Horrible
G.
cars, though. Just joking. Just joking.
Yeah. G91 R, R stands for reconnaissance, and this is the reconstruction of the object. So this is the white little dome, and this is a whitish, whitish plume that was seen only by the witnesses on the ground. It was not seen by the pilot. In any case, this is the pilot, this is the plane, and this is the object, and they are in scale.
So
So
this
you
is
see,
interesting. This is interesting. It puts out some kind of fuel or exhaust. So there is a propulsion system detectable, which is weird.
well, was that a propulsion? We could say, I mean, we could interpret this as a propulsion, as the result of some propulsion system, but who knows? I mean,
Yeah.
for us, it's of course everything that we do, except balloons, have this kind of plume in the back, which is the jet exhaust. But
Yeah.
we are judging this, which is an unknown object, with our own parameters. And who knows if this is a legal kind of judgment? It's difficult to say. You see.
Yeah.
So this is an article on the newspaper by of Treviso, La Tribuna.
Mhm.
This yes, it happened 1979, and you see again this is the picture. By the way, we have this picture only because Maresciallo Cecconi was rather smart to how can I say, to keep a couple for himself,
Right.
because otherwise they would have disappeared, because all the other have disappeared. Where they burned, they just lay dormant in some archive. No one knows. We only have this because Mr. Cecconi was smart enough to sneak a couple of these pictures in his pocket, only
He's
for
a
this.
he's a boss. He's one. Yeah.
You see. So here we
Yeah.
have the area, and then here we have this is an image taken by Google Earth of the same airport. This is the airport, and the object in the picture is more or less here. So, so this is interesting, Max,
Yeah.
because as I said, it has a quite striking resemblance with the Tic Tac UFO
For
case of Commander
that,
Fravor
that's for
of
damn sure.
2004. Sorry, just a
Yeah.
moment. I need to drink something.
Sure do. Sure. I'm not going to take too much of your time anymore,
No, no,
sir.
don't worry. It's always a pleasure. Don't worry,
um,
absolutely.
so last question that is very, very compelling for Italian cases is, of course, the football stadium case.
Hmm.
So for the audience, if you don't know about that case, I think it was in the 50s, sir, 50s
Yes,
or
it was
60s.
in the 50s, I think.
Yeah, so full football stadium, and Mr. Guizzardi, can tell you guys that in Holland football is a religion, but in Italy
Oh, it's
it's
more
it's
more
more
than a
it's
religion.
more it's more important than a religion. So there's a full stadium of people watching a football game, and sir, please do elaborate
Hmm.
on what was noticed.
Well, that was rather, how can I say it? It was rather simple after all. There was this football game going on, and then at a certain point, someone started looking up and was followed by practically all the other thousands of spectators in the stadium, and also the players in the field, and the referee, everybody just stopped doing whatever they were doing and just kept looking in the sky with pointing their nose up to see this UFO passing. No, there were more than one UFO, if I remember well, passing by.
Hmm.
And you can imagine, I mean, it really takes a fleet of UFOs to stop a football game in Italy. Actually,
That's true.
actually.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
what is interesting is, unfortunately, there is no image of this event, unfortunately.
Yeah. This is mind
And this
blowing
is
to me.
uh,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like a stadium of 10,000s of people and no one brought their photo camera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do agree. I do agree, and it's the same for me. But what is interesting is that, okay, this fleet of UFO passed slow, not that slowly passed by, and there was the phenomenon of the angel hair falling. There was
Angel
this.
hair,
It's called angel hair. It's yes, it's called angel hair because they are
like
like
white
very
hairs.
filament of a silicate,
Hmm.
sort of. uh, and it happened. I mean, it's nothing really new because it has happened in a certain number of cases. That, I mean, first the overflying of UFOs, one or more, huh? And then
Hmm.
after some time, this strange transparent filaments, very thin and very delicate, which fell on the ground slowly, falling like
Hmm.
snow. And then what is interesting is that they dissipated after some minutes.
Hmm.
Once that they were fallen on the ground, they sort of, I don't know if they evaporated, if they sublimated, or what happened. In any case, they disappeared to the side. They simply, it's like if they evaporate. Think of the how can I say, the morning glue, not
Like
not
snow or
yes, no, the
yeah,
morning, hey, how
dew.
do you call it, dew. Yes, sort of. When it
Yeah,
freezes, when it's frozen, then the sun comes and then it sublimates, it turns from ice into vapor without liquefying. I mean, sort
right.
of, I mean, and this is interesting because and this also had thousand and thousand of witnesses. I mean, this angel hair falling had really thousand and thousand of witnesses in Firenze, Florence.
Wow, and now they're all
Mhm.
immortal. Just joking. Just joking. Um, sir, before we go, would you mind if I give my audience 5 minutes to ask you some questions?
Yes,
Uh,
sure,
my
sure, sure.
my my audience, use the super chat, please, and I'll ask your question to Mr. Guizzardi.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna keep too much of his time, so please shoot. And before they
No
ask questions,
problem. No
sir,
problem, really. Don't worry for the time. I mean, I'm at your full disposal.
awesome. Um, but before they start going with the questions, I would love to thank you for your time. It was an amazing podcast. I think we've all enjoyed it. I see there's a huge crowd watching. Like
Good.
every minute, there's like almost 100 viewers, so that's amazing. Um,
Wow.
and I would love to do a follow up on this,
Hmm.
because I think after a podcast like this, more questions will be raised. So yeah,
Hmm.
that, we'll
The
probably need
more you
that.
speak and the more questions you come to your mind. I know, I know.
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
There's one. Uh, did we discuss any Italian crashes, retrievals? Also, any radar data on that cigar UAP? Yeah, we did. discussed the Mussolini retrieval. The cigar, was there any data on that?
Well, I would like to understand properly which cigar UAP. May the last one we have seen over Treviso. You mean
Mhm.
that one?
Yeah, with the picture, yeah.
Well, the only thing which is known for sure is that it was picked up on the radar. Unfortunately, there are no radar data, and I stress the point that if it was not for that smart gentleman of pilot Cecconi, who took a couple, quickly sneaked a couple of images to his own pockets. Today, we would not know anything, totally anything on that case. So, I mean, you see how very likely there are many cases, important cases, incredible cases of which we do not know anything. I mean, if it was not for the Mr. Cecconi who did this, no one would have known that, would have disappeared from, would have not disappeared, would have never become known at all. So you see, in any case, to answer properly to that question, no, there are only, it's only known that he was vectored by the radar on the point of the object, because the radar operator had the object on his radar
Sure.
screen.
Now, next question is, who is Paolo collaborating with on UAP UFO research besides Max? Well, I'm just a podcaster. Mr. Paolo is working with ICER. That's a big collaboration. So maybe, sir, you can say something about that.
Well, well, first of all, I am a member. Let's go. Let's start from the beginning. I am a member of the Centro Ufologico Nazionale since 2008. The Centro Ufologico Nazionale is the most important and one of the oldest private UFO research association in Italy and in the world. So in the Centro Ufologico Nazionale, my role is to keep contact with foreign, to keep foreign contacts, so to speak, foreign relations. Then, recently came my involvement with ICER, where I am the the national representative for Italy. ICER is an international non-governative organization which is officially registered in Portugal, in Porto, in the city of Porto. It was officially launched the end of May. So, I mean, it's just a new organization. There are many things that we are still working on this, because to set up an organization, an international organization from scratch like this, it really take a lot of work. But I mean, what is interesting is what we are doing. I mean, ICER is the first private research organization in the form of an international NGO dealing with the research on the UFO UAP subject. But not all, not only, because I mean, we always speak of UFO UAP. Okay, that's fine, but I mean, it's just the tip, the proverbial tip of the iceberg, the UFO UAP phenomenon. It's the tip, and the rest of the iceberg is the whole extraterrestrial, I would say, hypothesis. I mean, it's the existence of extraterrestrials and their very likely presence on Earth. This is the point. And ICER start exactly from this point.
Exactly.
ICER is aware of the UFO UAP phenomenon. The UAP and UFO and or UAP phenomenon act with intelligence, and it's very most likely, not for sure, I want to stress it, but most likely it is a sign of, this intelligent behavior is a sign of an extraterrestrial presence on Earth, right now, right here. And this is where ICER starts from and wants to bring. And the main purpose of ICER is to prepare the population in general to this, in order, because this can have enormous repercussions for the whole civilization of Earth. So this is why it is important. It is fundamental, of fundamental importance for ICER to act at an international level. And the first act of this, and the first act in this direction, is the one that we have taken with together in partnership with the Centro Ufologico Nazionale of Project Titano, or Titan, with the government of San Marino.
Noted, sir. I'm going to hurry this a little bit up. Sensubin, thank you for your donation. Would more top-level people in Italy disclose evidence information regarding the phenomenon if their NDA is non-existent? Could we make a petition to give pardons to everyone that violates that and their NDA?
I do agree. I do agree with. Sorry, I don't
Sensubin.
know how to say Sensubin. Yes, I do agree with him or her. We must arrive to a point where we understand that we cannot prosecute everyone, because I mean, for sure, in the past, a lot of abuses have been committed. Really bad things, for sure. I mean, for sure, we know some, others we suspect, but I mean, the point is that we cannot start, how can I say, a witch hunt in this case, because we would never recover from this, and this would lead totally to anywhere. I mean, I understand that really bad things have been committed. I mean, bad actions have been committed.
For sure.
There was a reason for this, which is understandable. But again, at a certain point, we must realize that if we want to progress, we must, as we say in Italy, we must put a stone on this and go on. And I do agree that a sort of you call it petition. I mean, an action of pardon. I think it's the, you can say like this in English. Pardon. I mean, a generalized pardon action is the best option to be able to, if we want to proceed, if we want to go any further.
Yeah. So last question I'm gonna ask Mr. Guizzardi. Thank you, Gabriel Arcadi, for your 50 SEK. I'm not sure what country that is.
Crowns,
Would,
Sweden.
oh,
Crown,
thank you
Swedish
for your
crown.
ground. Thank you. Would Paolo try to interview someone in the Vatican State about UAP?
Well, I would be not happy. I would be more than happy to have discussions with the Vatican. Personally, I do not have any. I do not know anyone in the Vatican. So, I mean, of my initiative, I do not. I could not know even where to start from. But I
Oh, I
mean,
thought you were
you
friends
may
with the
never
Pope.
know. No, not exactly. But in any case, I mean, I would be more than happy to start a discussion with them, in case, and I'm more than open to do this. And I told you, you may never know. You may never know, because we have seen. Listen, I'm 65 years old now, and in these last 3 years, I have seen things that I would have never imagined to that I would have seen in my life. So never say never.
All right, sir. My brother Vinny of Disclosure Team, subscribe to that channel. He's amazing. Let's do an ICER panel discussion on the owls. Now, sir, me, Vinny, and Sean Raj, and actually Andy Marshall have a collaborative channel called the Owls of Disclosure, and we usually cover European cases. So I'm actually cheating on them right now. um, so we would love to have an ICER panel, and if you're up for it, and some of your colleagues, we would love to do that.
Mhm.
On that
Okay,
note,
just sorry, Max. Just to have
sure.
an idea, you say that you are covering. I mean, in this halls of disclosure, you are covering mostly European cases, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. No, just I'm just noting this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like people, please subscribe to that channel because the
Mm-hmm.
Europeans and a rogue American, we're digging into European cases because everything spotlighted is usually American, but there's enough
Mm-hmm.
stuff going on over here, like
Yes,
Italy.
yes, 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 yes.
Um, on that note, I really have to pee, and I love, I love, I loved this talk with you, Mr. Guizzardi. It was one of my already right off the bat one of my favorite interviews I've ever done on my podcast,
Wow.
and I can I see my audience has been really enjoying this, and I would love to have you back, including your colleagues, either on my channel or the Owls.
Mm-hmm.
But I've really enjoyed this. It was amazing. Thank you so
Good.
much.
My pleasure. Whenever you want, Max, you just call me, write me, and we'll be more than happy to be your guest.
Yes, and feel free whenever you have some really classified and
Mm-hmm.
secret information. I'm the guy. So, um,
Okay.
on that note, my audience, my colleagues, my brothers and sisters, thank you for watching us. And yeah, please return for the next episode. Mr. Guizzardi, again, a great pleasure,
Thank
a
you.
privilege, an honor.
Oh,
And to everyone, have a great night and a great weekend.
thanks
Ciao.
very much, Max. Thanks, and thanks to all the friends assisting to this podcast. Thank you, Max. Good evening, and
Good
see you
evening.
soon.
See you soon. Ciao.
Ciao.